What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 22 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Mannfred von Carstein Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, I want to say 3 or 4 fantastic battles, with 3 of them, I believe, being heroic battles. And to that, Wilmar of the Thousand Wings, facing a massive Skaven horde, definitely worked for his victory and came out ahead. And I really enjoyed his fight, and I expect great things to come from him as he continues moving probably north. Somebody has to deal with the Tamarkan and well, generally stuff up here. Azag will most likely once again save for Bathilda, and, well, we'll probably send Gorst to deal with the Golden Order as well, who we can see are pushing up north now and taking on our vassal, which ain't so great. We gotta pay him back for that. Anyway, in terms of what we gotta do this time, well, 2 things. Before we jump into what we gotta do this time, unfortunately, we did not reach the engagement threshold. Actually, a couple of episodes now. I did promise a grace period, so we did a couple of extra episodes of the lengthy variety, but this will be the last one. This one's for me, just because it's too much fun. But anyway, after this, we will be returning to the shorter length episodes. So let's enjoy these battles while we can. Ooh, yes, Frederick. It's been a while since we've seen the the pike and shot army fighting. Ooh. That's a lot of nasty units. I got 3 Heart Seekers, a bunch of Fiends of Slaughter, Soul Grinders, lots of Exalted Demonettes, no regular Demonettes, in fact. Dang. Alright, and we are damaged at that, eh? That sounds pretty fun. Now, let's jump on into it now. We are at 19 out of 20 because we've been waiting and waiting and waiting for those darn Necrofex Colossi to come up, but they never did. I guess we could get a free unit of Skeleton Spears here, just because it's a pike and shot army, so we have to, you know, sort of keep, we can't get bats or dogs or anything like that, because we have to, yeah, let's get Skelly Spears. Let's get Skelly Spears, and we're not doing it in order, because I want to start with this one. Let's go. Karam, I'm going to assume that you will allow everybody to sally out. And indeed you will. That's hardly surprising. It's valiant defeat and its casualties high. This is kind of the worst possible army for the pike and shot army to face off against. So granted, they do have a fair few large units for the halberds to be the bane of. However, the problem here is going to be the fact that the enemy has very little armor, so our entire army is armor piercing, and that's going to be waste, rock, paper, scissors wise, and then we will also have them being able to move around fast and all that stuff. It'll be a tough fight, I'm sure. Let's see if Frederick von Carlsbrook can pull it off. Alrighty, here we go. I am very excited for this, partly because the pike and shot army is just really fun, and partly because this is going to be a pretty darn dangerous fight for us. A super elite army of Slaaneshi versus a, well, if they get around us, a very fragile back line, which the vampires don't usually have. So it's something that the Slaaneshi would be particularly adept at dealing with. And oh my lord, look at the frickin' chaos steroids on this guy. He's gigantic. Oh, he makes a Graveguard look just absolutely tiny by comparison. Fortunately, we do have, he's basically standing as tall as the frickin' zombie dragon does on his horse. That's gotta be pretty impressive. Anyway, this is the Chaos Lord of Slaanesh out here, and fortunately we do have the White King, the zombie dragon, and that's a big boy, and the Graveguard with halberds. Gotta try to surround and destroy this lord before the main stack arrives. Compare the size of the Chaos guy and the White King here. Granted, the White King doesn't have any flesh, but, well, the Chaos horse's head is as tall or taller than the White King's crown, which is, yeah. Oh, those chaos steroids, though. Give me some of that. Anyway, in the meantime, we have 1 minute and 30 seconds until the enemy arrives on the field, and we need to take up a better position, i.e. this is going to be dangerous for us, and our positioning is going to be pretty critical here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to make use of this, I don't know, sort of weird Slaanesh to act as a pseudo wall, await reinforcements, act as a pseudo wall and try to deploy up on this hill. We need to be able to fire down into the Slaaneshi ranks with our guns and hopefully over the heads of the rest of our units. Looks like the zombie dragon brings down that Chaos Lord at last. The Chaos Steros just weren't enough, and it looks like, well, it looks like the tree will grow over his corpse. See, we're helping the environment here. That's what the undead are all about. Anyway, we should have just enough time to take formation before the enemy army arrives on field, and let's see how well this works out for us. There we go. The Von Carstein Temple Guard, the Balehooks, and the Immortal Landsknecht are out front, and they will be helped by the 2 units of Rotting Promethean Gunnery mobs. Alright, enemy Heartseekers awaiting to charge in, and here they come. Unfortunately for them, the volleys will come in from our handguns. And there we go, handguns and guns, I should say. And of course, the halberds will hold the enemy back. The enemy is quite fragile after all, and we see the enemy Heartseekers dropping in droves, so regular Seekers and Heartseekers. First of the enemy units is done, but the enemy has plenty more where that came from. Our positioning looks pretty darn good at this point, and our handgunners draw a bead on all those enemies. The Slaaneshi just keep on charging. We're going to summon a couple of zombies in front of the rest of our units to try to take a couple of the enemy charges. Even with the charge defense available to all of our Graveguard. The enemy does outnumber us here as well. At least in terms of melee, so we do have to be wary of them getting around. There we go, Fiends of Slaanesh. I really enjoy this particular unit as well. Gonna try to gun them down as best we can, keep the enemy from moving forward. In fact, we're going to back off a little bit with our Rotting Promethean Gunnery mobs so that they don't interfere with our unit's ability to fire over them. Even our cannons, our carronades, were able to reach the hill, which is nice as they've been able to fire away. Not a crazy amount of damage on them, but once again, without the buffs of the Vampire Coast, they're going to be a lackluster unit, generally speaking. Looks like the balance of power has shifted in our favor. The enemy is having a lot of trouble with the constant focus fire by our guns, and are unable to make it through the lines of halberds and Rotting Prometheans. Plus, of course, our Lord is helping out and anchoring the line as well. Beautiful. Man, I love this army. It's so fun. Alrighty. I like to think that Frederick von Carlsberg here maybe was a knight of an imperial order of some sort and came back but still wanted to use imperial tactics. Which he's been doing with a lot of success, I should say. Alright, and by the looks of it, the enemy numbers are vastly depleted now. Just a few more demonettes remain, and while we'll hit a few of our own zombies with our gunners, that hardly matters. The demonettes will go, and it looks like the last of the enemy units on field. I lost my place with the camera there. There we go, will be a unit of Seekers which attempted to flee towards the tree line for some reason before being brought down and giving the battle to us. Perfect. That was so darn fun. It's such a different army from the rest of the vampire armies, and it's really fun to play for the same reason that the Empire is fun to play. And since it's a pike and shot army, that does make sense that it feels very similar to the Empire. I also like the fact that the various units of Halberd Graveguard have essentially the same color scheme on their unit cards as the Vampire Coast units do. So it's just another reason this army works nicely together, isn't it? As for the Graveguard, speaking of, by the looks of 8.8k damage, the Von Carstein Temple Guard show that they have certainly earned that name, winning the day there. And at 14k, once again, by the looks of it, the Drowned Fusiliers will win the day for the Handgunners. Yes, as to the, well, the Click-Clack Claws and the Crabby Boys, they had a very particular sort of job this time around, just making sure that the enemy can't charge through our infantry ranks, so their damage wasn't going to be nearly as high as it might otherwise be. Anyway, that worked out pretty well in my opinion. We have very little in the way of magic, so we'll heal up to full, and I do believe we'll be able to take Ockham's Forever Maze with that little enough remaining. I'll resolve it. And occupied, and I do believe that's the entirety of the strength of this particular faction, meaning that the Castle of Splendor and the Crucible of Delights should easily fall to the, oh, there's a free ancient armor here, interesting, easily fall, you have crypt core capacity, wait. Wait a second, easily fall to our auto resolves, Festus. Okay, we're busy. Just give it a minute, Festus. Do we now have capacity for crypt horrors? Yes, we do. We can only raise the one here, unfortunately. 7 out of 12? I've been waiting to raise a bunch of these guys, and we have 7 out of 12? Alright, well, raise one, and in fact, you can grab the Kitab El-Aziz from whoever. It's been a while since I've swapped it out to anybody. Let's do you, and you already have the Gravedigger. And let's get the first Crypt Horror. And we'll sort of run around looking for more Crypt Horrors, because there may be another one available here at Castle Tempelhof, rather than the Moot, I would assume. And they aren't super high tier after all, they are tier 3, but yeah, there's another one available here. We want Crypt Horrors to fill up Ghoul King Hecanorus' army, so it's bombs and horrors, which is a horrific concept, you gotta admit. Might also want to work on putting these guys to work at Karak Kadrin, though they could probably easily take Essen, although the auto-resolve probably wouldn't let us because the auto-resolve hates these armies. Anyway, we will probably have to deal with Festus shortly. Also, anything else interesting in the Raised Dead here, just while we're looking at it? We do have some Hex Wraiths available, some Mourn Ghouls. We could put a couple of Mourn Ghouls in Hecanorus' army just to act as a sort of cavalry equivalent unit. Although I suppose, in some ways, the Deck Dropper Bombers could do that as well, but it's not like we have a lot of Mourn Ghouls anywhere else, so why not? Plus, I really like the units, so there's that. Alright, let's do that, why not? Yeah, we'll deal with Festus afterwards, but let's start in order once again. Many. What do we have here? Alright, Abyss's army is actually fairly basic. It's like 3 times weaker than the Ockham's Forever Maze army, and if Frederick can beat them, then Manny will have no problem. I think we'll just auto-resolve this. May as well leech a little bit of... Oh, it's Recruiter. Nah, you don't even need to leech XP. Your XP does nothing for us. Well, I lied. The unit XP does something for us. Actually, you know what? Just ignore it. We want you to go as far as you can. I don't care. Go. And, alright, you steal stuff. Okay, wait a moment. Gotta give these guys the anti-steely stuff. Restless Spirit. Okay, you already have one. Okay, you already have one.
Come, impress me.
Really? They all had one and they steal anyway? Well, that's not great. Well, what are you gonna do? Alright, fine, you move in. Wait, what about you? Oh, do the Restless Spirits even work? They might not work here because... Wait, I'm looking in the wrong place. We're going to turn those gray items into green items in a bit. We are gathering a ton of items right now, so I'm waiting until we get a decent number, but... where's the Restless Spirits gather down here? I'm wondering, it says enemy Slaaneshi armies in local region. Does that actually apply when you're in the water? Maybe this isn't actually functional when it's in the water, eh? I do wonder. Anyway, who has a free one? Frankly, I don't know who most of these guys are here. Trudel, no, not you. You're with, oh man. You're with Manny. Once again, I don't know if this will work. Who's this? Wilhelm of the Grim Banquet. Yeah, let's take yours. Just out of curiosity. It looks like they are in this territory. Let's see if the Steelies still happen. Doesn't happen that time. Now, that's a question. Is it because they ran out, or is it because we added the Restless Spirit to that? I have no idea, but either way, this is decisive victory and low casualties, so we'll just auto-resolve it. And we will take the money, I think, as well. We need all the money we can get while we're using materials at sea. And ooh, a nice find, a Book of Ashur. We will not have that on Recruiter, that's for sure. And everybody else can go. So Manny, you're going northward to Nagashazar and the final victory objective for the long victory. Recruiter, you are going this way towards the Castle of Splendor to trade the various Blood Knight units to Mr. Wallach Harkin. And next up, who do we have? Kadanman Senkenhof. Now, alright, you have to besiege Galbaraz and will continue to do so because you have no siege attacker in this army. This is why we probably want to put some Vargovs in here, and just so that we have access to siege attacker, plus the Vargovs will give an additional +5 melee attack to every zombie in the army, so it's a decent idea. Next up, if it's not you, Bathilda. You are going this way, we'll head you towards Mount Silver Spear. These guys can try to ambush you, but they would have to be kind of insane to do so, so let them try. A Recruiter, you're gonna follow Bathilda this way, I guess, unless there's another... A moment. There's no more Mortis engines that we can raise here, is there? I don't think so. Plenty of Crypt Horrors, though, interestingly enough. Huh. Alright, you know what? I would like you recruit... Well, you're both recruiters. Do either of you have the Kitab El Azif now? Alright, fine. We'll give one back to you. If I can find... Oh, it's a magic item. Yeah... Wish I could tell which recruiter was which. You know what? Once you're done with it, here's what we'll do. We will raise the Crypt Horrors, like so. We'll transfer them. Then you're just going to lose the Kitab El Azif. There we go. Then that way it'll be easily tradable. Now you can't move into here, so this recruiter will... Various things have to be traded to various lords, which is kind of what's confusing me. But anyway, I guess you're just going to go here, and I'm going to hope that these guys can't reach you from here. And if they can, and you die somehow, well, that's on me. Well, just hope it doesn't happen. Wilhelm of the Grim Banquet, your turn, my friend. You and your ghoulies are going to go up here, and I'm going to say 95% likelihood that you're going to get attacked by Thorgrim. You're not going to go into ambush stance, even though it would work really well against him. But if you can't see, then what's the point? I really hope he doesn't jump down here to Karak Kadrin, though. That would be irritating. Anyway, let's level you up, sir. You have 4 points to you. You have... well, you don't need Flying Horrors. You do need Legions of the... Wait. No, you don't. We have Deadly Power, which already powers up the ghouls, and I purposely didn't get this because the mod causes you to double up sometimes, and I've been playing to avoid that because I like what the mod gives us, but I don't want it to power us up more than we normally would be. Curse of Undeath, and I guess we should probably get Command of the Unliving. It's mostly the Crypt Horror summoning that we would use here, if we should have sufficient mana to actually use it. And we'll try to move towards Diviner. Yeah, so let's get another point in Command of the Unliving and then into Evasion, which will actually make you a little bit stronger. Soul Blight's a great spell as well, so we'll head on to that and probably ignore Doom and Darkness because it's rare that I use it. I usually only get it for armies that are specifically... Is this? All right. I usually get it specifically for armies that are stacking leadership debuffs, so you can have like a massive leadership shock. But the AI... Oh, you don't have Van Hale's Dance Macabre. Wait. No. That's more critical than anything you have here. Yeah, sometimes a nice big morale shock is really quite nice, and you have Witherer but no Curse of Years. Dude, come on now. What do you have? Okay, you don't have Curse of Years, you don't have Van Hale's either. Okay, both of you need that as a priority. Oh, right. I prioritize Let Them Roam and the Stash of Organs to power up the ghouls here, which is why those guys look like that. Yeah. Anyway, Morale Shock armies are really, really fun as well. Drika's the best at it because her faction is just insane about morale reductions, but there are other options. Anyway, Gustav Grigorovich. We should probably get you Dark Protection because the damage resistance is quite nice in case you get wrecked by something. But Pan's Impenetrable Pelt is an interesting option for the... basically giving invincibility to the units of ghosties, at least against non-magical damage dealers. Ooh, we have reached rank 7 with the Hex Wraiths, though, so that means I think we have to head toward or through Waking Dead. Wait, no. I guess Evil Souls to buff with the Hex Wraiths, not the Waking Dead. Alright, we'll do Evil Souls into Magical Animus, and then as fast as we can, try to grab whatever buffs the ghosties here. So, Dread Knights and Legions of the Dead. Yeah, alright. Yeah, Gil, you're gonna have to level up for that. Anyway, now Wind of Death is very dangerous to us. I don't even know why I bothered with Raise the Dead in this army, because I mostly don't use it here. Just because, you know, once again, I feel like different armies some should rely on it and some should not. Let's actually max out Onslaught here, because we're generally attacking just from a little bit more damage. Where's Whaley? You have Piercing Lament. We could get Swirling Winds as well, or grab We Are the Elite. We don't have Perfect Vigor on these guys, do we? Or do we? We do, meaning that this is not useful, generally speaking. Well, I mean, there are some units in the army that won't have Perfect Vigor, right? Like, actually, I'm just curious. No, you guys also have Perfect Vigor. You just don't have the physical resistance of ghostly units, because while ghosts are pulling the Mortis engine and keeping it afloat, there is a Necromancer on a, you know, physical object on it, which you can hit. Yeah. Speed increase, or just seeing, obviously we don't, oh, enemy leadership, enemy, oh, it's enemy characters though. If it was the enemy army, I'd be a little bit better. That I think will start making you guys fighters now, so let's go into elusive. Mostly because you're always out front and getting hit by stuff. Swirling Winds, Piercing Lament, and Bloody Blood. No, Recovery. Can't believe I didn't get that earlier. Might have not been at the level to get it. And there we go. Gustav, switch to Vampiric Channeling and hit to this place. Mount Adhal. Frankly, their defenses aren't looking all that hot. It might not even necessitate the fight here. We've already beaten much stronger forces than this with the ghosties. I think we'll save their fights for the invasion of Lustria. It's not like we've got a shortage of lizards around after all. And oh, the ghosties haven't fought the elves yet. Could have them attack the Citadel of Dusk. Oh, it's only tier 3, which explains the lack of advanced units. But you know, they only have 2 settlements, which makes sense that their growth is relatively lackluster. Let's also take a few more. Ooh, Thorgrim, easy, and I guess Isilol. Oh, you're gonna jump down here soon, aren't you? I'm almost tempted to peace out with Durthu just so that we don't have to deal with him. And ooh, before I forget, we do need to get the Blood Kisses. We are -1, so we need +1, which means we have to pop Betrayal Revealed, which is gonna cost us 6 Blood Kisses, but we don't really need Blood Kisses anymore except to pop the occasional right, so I think we're fine. Kadon, who's up next? A recruiter. Okay, some of the recruiters do actually need to move, and I've lost track of who's who, so we're going to actually have to click them periodically. Helman Gorst. Okay, all of you guys, essentially. There's something to do here. And that something is this. We need to attack the Black Fortress. What's the likelihood these guys would be willing to sally out? I'm gonna say low, right? Sally out and fight us. They do have a full stag, but it's not a crazy one. It really depends on how much they... Oh, you're gonna have to march stance anyway. Which will cause you some attrition, but what are you gonna do? Let's see. I mean, it is a zombie army, or 2 zombie armies, so who knows? They might be willing. Though I have my doubts. Go here. See if they fight on field. And we leveled them recently, so we don't have to deal with them right now. Now they're gonna run. Unfortunately for these guys, the Black Fortress didn't build defenses, which is not so great for them. Let us then besiege it. It still says Valiant Defeat. Alright, so here's what we'll do. Let's give them a chance to sally out. If they don't, what we'll do is we'll have Mukkel chase down Skagueth, Vuzkalak, and take the Sentinels, while Helman Gorst besieges the Black Fortress. I think what that'll mean is because they have a full stack defending plus this, that the 2 of them together will attempt to attack the Gorst by himself, and we can still force a field battle. The other option would be to do the siege battle as it is, and just send 1,000,000 zombies up the walls. Yeah, that's a decent option as well. You know what, I'll think about it. We have a few other things to do, so let's hold off for now. As in for this turn. You, Elvira, will move this way. I'll have to get you into some battles soon. Hilbrand is back as well with his flyers. You're 1 bat short, my friend. 1 bat short of a bundle. Alright, let's get you 1 more fell bat then. I mean, the other alternative would be... Wait, how many turns does it take to build deck droppers with handguns again? Let me just see here. Parts of Sartosa. Just the 1 turn? Yeah, let's put you 1 more. Why not? I like it. Oh, actually, no, I lied. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, yeah, okay, the reason I didn't build the other one is because there has to be a vampire that takes that slot. Anyway, Nozert, you have your 3 Vargulfs and all those doggos, which you're moving here for to take all of these doggos and Vargulfs away from these guys. Once you're ready to move on your own, we can send you all into different directions. Lovely. Love it when new armies come together. Ludwig von Deal, you were supposed to head towards Dock Karaz, aren't you? You can't reach it in one turn. I wonder, if we grab the Fell Cargo, would we be able to get close enough to Dock Karaz to hit it next turn? Let's find out. And do this. And sell to the wreck, and auto-resolve for obvious reasons, and then take the money. And let's see if you got anything interesting for us. I doubt it, but who knows? And we got Lost Cargo. Huh, actually a nice find. Rod of Flaming Death we don't really care about. You can now go into March Stance and then go this way and you'll be close enough to hit Dock Karaz next turn. Lovely. Definitely worth it for the Lost Cargo, I gotta say. It's no materials at sea, but the extra growth is still a fairly significant buff to what we're looking for here. John Doe, any more Blood Knights available to you, sir? I see plenty of Black Knights and Hex Wraiths, but no Blood Knights here as well. Oh, well. I guess we will need to hit Massive 4 Cal. Oh, but you don't have Siege Attacker. And... you know what? We might still be able to do this. Go here. We're gonna trade stuff to the Red Duke. We might still be able to attack Massive Orcal by March Stance with the both of you together. Next turn, of course, but still a possibility. And, wait, can you maybe channel for this? You have a what? Fencer's Blades? Yeah, I like to give the Fencer's Blades to the Necro Lords. Anyway, Wallach Harkin, you are up next, sir. And you're going to move towards the Crucible of Delights, which oh, huh, I didn't even know you could move there. Interesting. We're gonna have to March Stance and take attrition damage here, just because we need to... Yeah, I really don't like you being off the edge of the map like this, kind of freaking me out. You know what, go here. I just don't like it. It makes me nervous. And yes, there's a road that goes here, but it still makes me nervous. Just go like this, and suffer attrition as needed. And then you'll meet up with the recruiter to get more blood dragons at the Castle of Splendor. And then off to the eastern colonies. Wallach Harkin, you're good. Count Orlok, you are hunting rats. And I think to do so, you're going to go into Vampiric Channeling rather than what you were in before, and then start moving towards Zvorak. We'll see how these guys react to all this. And we'll obviously give you this Necro when you're ready for it. Bone Daddy, you... are once again technically supposed to fight with this guy, so you're gonna start moving towards Ekrund. I guess we could send you to Varenka Hills. Yeah, but Ludwig can deal with it for us. Go this way.
Bring it all to me.
And I assume you won't suffer attrition here because we have a massive amount of vampiric corruption in this territory now. Brandon Gagnier, I'm gonna ignore you for now. Vladdy, are you perhaps in... Ah, you are in range. Good. Oh! That's a lot of units, and a full stack. This stack is kind of meh, but there's a solid defensive garrison there. I think Vlad has himself another fight, and another interesting one at that, because like the last fight with him, he still has a relatively lackluster army for now. Mortal Levies, please. Let's also go for... Trying to remember exactly what I was trying to do. Call of the... well, we'll still... probably want to buff up the doggos and the stuff here, but not super critical. The problem right now with Vlad is that I've kind of spread out the type of units that he's going to get a lot, which is kind of iffy. But I know that he is going to have some Vargulfs and Vargai, so we could still go through this. You know, we will need Raised Dead on him anyway. And possibly Curse of Years and stuff. He does have... Oh, actually, he does have a -2 to it. So yeah, let's do this. And just in case, let's go Curse of Years. His mana's okay. It's nothing crazy, but he'll get there. You, or his current Winds of Magic reserves. You, Emmanuel Posner, have Pit of Shades. In fact, let's get a second point in Pit of Shades, because it's an amazing spell, but we really want to hit Retinue Valet ASAP to get that +20 magic item drop chance for the additional magic items. Isabella... Now, you should probably get Van Hel's because it's very useful, and let's max out at Dawn They Sleep to get your unique stuff. We do want scouting for you as well. Alright, and that looks good to me, Vladdy. Hit Glum Grimbrow here. Let's see if he's willing to fight. He should. I mean, the Auto Resolve should see this as a pretty darn weak army, even if it's wrong. As we've already proved. Alright, valiant defeat, casualties high. I mean, honestly, the Auto Resolve isn't wrong, it's just... This is Vlad at the helm. Ooh. Gyrocopters with troll hammers. These things are just ludicrously nasty. Definitely one of the nastiest units if you pay attention to microing these things. I remember when they were just introduced and just being shocked at how nasty flying troll hammers are. Let's have some fun. All right, here. Oh my lord, Vlad charging is so damn quick. Wow, okay. He's got 72 speed, and then obviously he accelerates when he charges, as units are wont to do, and that was pretty darn scary. And I'm sure the enemy lord is certainly feeling that, as he's down to half HP, has called in some slayers to attempt to reinforce, though how effective that will be, and will they be able to save him, remains to be seen. Slayers can do a lot of damage like this, but, well, not enough by the looks of it, and this is Vlad after all. Gonna be difficult to bring him down. Anyway, here we go. Another battle with Vlad, and it should be a pretty darn fun one once again. They don't have Ungrim or Garagrim on the field this time around. But they do have Snorri, and they do have a lot of units, probably more so than we fought when we fought the other stack. As in led by Ungrim, because it's 2 full stacks coming in as a reinforcement, plus this army out here. Anyway, looks like these slayers are getting mobs surrounded and obliterated. The doggos attacking in numbers, and their smaller models really give them the advantage of being able to do this, with Vlad in the midst of his hounds and his blood knights. And the slayers are pretty much destroyed. I do believe the enemy lord is routing, and it looks like some hammerers are moving on in. So we're going to get the direwolves out of there and allow the blood knights to take on the hammerers. And not the blood knights alone, as the Vargolfs have arrived and charged right into the back of those hammers, adding a little bit more of that armor-piercing damage and disrupting their formation as well. And considering the hammers have been at least slightly softened up by our units of Sylvanian crossbows, the slayers are just about done for. Alright, I'm gonna hunt down that enemy lord and prepare for the arrival of the 2nd and 3rd stacks. And oh my lord, that's a concerning number of dwarves to be dealing with the army that we have. In particular, 4 zombies, 3 units of direwolves, the Sylvanian crossbows, which admittedly are supposed to be anti-large, which the enemy doesn't really have, and are supposed to be and don't have armor piercing, and the enemy has tons of armor. Or at the very least, don't have much in the way of armor piercing. What are we at here? Yeah, 11. But that's alright, we will deal. The enemy gyrocopters are large units if we can get them in range, though we'll probably be sending our flyers after them anyway. Anyway, time to reform. Take up our positions as we get ready to fight here, as this is going to be an interesting one. We're going to take the hill here so that our Sylvanian crossbows can fire down, and the zombies have a little bit of an easier time holding the enemy tied back from attacking them. Vlad is waiting up here together. Oh man, I keep dropping frames. Sorry about that, guys. PC not liking these battles lately for some reason. Anyway, Vargos together with Vlad up here. And we've hidden our dire doggos on the right flank in the woods in the hopes of rushing around the enemy and obliterating as much of their back line as well as their artillery as possible, though the degree to which that works out remains to be seen. Anyway, main enemy stack continues rushing forward. We'll speed up while we allow them to do so a little bit, and aha, found ourselves some gyrocopters. Fly towards them, gonna activate Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma Overcast to slow their speed down by about 50%, and allow the Vargeists and such to bring down as many of them as possible. In the meantime, we'll drop a set of zombies on a couple of the enemy range units and send our bats around to obliterate this flame cannon. We certainly don't want this thing firing into the blobs of zombies here, and this is what the bats were made for, tying up enemy range and artillery. using them as they were meant to be used. Out here, Blood Knights and Vlad and his 2 Vargulfs have charged on in. They've found Mr. Snorri Nosebiter as well as the enemy Demon Slayer, who stand against them. And they're pretty scary units, I will admit. However, Vlad will summon a unit of zombies to block off the enemy slayers and longbeards and whatnot, and allow his elites to surround and obliterate Snorri and the Demon Slayer. Or at the very least, Snorri so far, who's down below half HP, and that is even without Vlad attacking, because he's kind of having a difficult time getting through his own formation. Anyway, it looks like our doggos and our bats have overrun the enemy backline. The bats are now going after the enemy gyrocopters, with another Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, slowing them down. And look at those lovely little doggos speeding around. They're so tiny, so cute, and surprisingly devastating. And with the buffs that they're given by by Isabella, the fact that they also have Strider and that deceleration acceleration bonus that Wayfarer gives them does give them the ability to sort of act as cavalry, in the sense that they can accelerate really quickly and then sort of do another charge. Plus they do decent damage and even have a little bit of armor piercing to them. Not much, but, well, it's enough for our purposes, clearly. Vargeists have touched down in the enemy backline as well, and are now working on the droves of enemy Slayer pirates, as well as Thunderers and Quarrelers and whatnot, while more zombies are summoned on field to slow the enemy down. The other portion of the battlefield we have sent our Vargulfs back to, as our zombies are holding back a pretty big old tide of various dwarven units, including Slayers. And unfortunately, we didn't have enough of a zombie line to hold the enemy back, which means at least one unit of miners is attempting to charge our Sylvanian crossbows and prevent them from firing further. Fortunately, we do have that Face of Death ability, and we're going to pop it right on top of these units of miners in order to lock them in place and pin them. And the miners are relatively weak and they won't be able to deal with that, so our crossbows can turn and continue firing once more. Vlad's taken a little bit of damage, but Snorri and the other Demon Slayer, I think, are both defeated at this point, and Vlad can heal up as needed. Plus, I do like the fact that he has his coterie of Blood Knights fighting around him. And once again, we will get him some, maybe 2 and 2, 2 Blood Knights, 2 Blood Knight Warriors. Obviously, with sufficient other units mixed in, the crossbows, etc., etc. Alright, and now that Vlad is no longer surrounded, he'll be healing up rather quickly. If you don't focus him down, he'll just heal right back up to full. That's always been his gimmick, and it can be pretty irritating to deal with if you can't focus him down. Vargeist still in the middle of this, and though they have very poor melee defense, they do have zombies to act as meat shields for them. Sort of the classic combo of interspersing monstrous infantry and monstrous infantry-like units into piles of infantry. And it's a reason why I was saying earlier, or before the last episode, I guess, with regards to Wilmar's flying army, the ability to raise dead would certainly make it a lot easier for him, and I'm still on the fence about whether we should use it, because they're not flying units. I mean, we could say that the deck droppers are dropping zombies on the enemies if we want to. But on the other hand, we're working for our victory, so... Not that we're not working for our victory here, mind you, trying to distract as many units with zombies as we can. For example, these Slayers, who are up to 72 kills, 108 kills. Pretty solid on some of these units. Unfortunately for the enemy army, only these Slayers will remain. And now it's just time to clean them up. Nonce power shift's 100% in our favor, and we're going to focus the Doomseekers, well, not literal Doomseekers, but these Slayers do seek doom, you know what I mean. Alright. And hey, I'm sure their axes have found the head of many a zombie. But I don't know. Does that really allow them to honor their ancestors if they're brought down by zombies and the only thing they've killed are other zombies? Zombies, of course, are the lowest tier of undead, and the vampire count zombies in particular, they don't have souls, they're just puppets. Just soulless corpses, and I'm not so sure that the Slayers should consider them to be worthy foes. Anyway, it looks like those Slayers have been mobbed rather and brought down. One other last unit of Slayers remains, 226 kills on them, and they are still slaying droves of zombies, slowly but surely. Okay, these guys haven't shamed their ancestors. If you're gonna kill zombies, you have to kill a lot of zombies before you're brought down, right? And it is nice to watch them fight a little bit. The rest of their army has been obliterated, and we could probably kill these guys off really, really quickly if we wanted to, just by sending the Dire Wolves or the Blood Knights or whoever at them. But let them cut their way through a few more zombies. Their HP is slowly but surely dwindling, and granted these are also Vlad's completely unbuffed zombies. So in terms of, yeah, they have 9 melee attack, no armor. Weapon strength is okay. Under Kadrin, these Slayers would not have lasted anywhere nearly as long, because obviously the Slayers are quite fragile. But still, they're just about done for now. And there's one Slayer running out of there. Oh, this happens sometimes. Uh-oh. So sometimes Slayers get stuck in Deathblow or something, and they have 0 HP and then refuse to die. I have found that you can actually kill them, however, if you drop a specific damaging spell on them, like Spirit Leech or Melkoths. Unfortunately, we do have those, so we should still be able to kill off that one guy. And damn, how many? 387. Yeah, we're just sending all the summoned zombies at the Slayers at this point, so none of these zombies dying here are any of the zombies from the actual army. And just this horror, this whole thing is just amusing to me, so that's why I kept doing this. And it looks like the summoned zombies we've pretty much run down. Damn, well done, Slayers. Well, we do have other summoned zombies on the field, and I guess we'll send them towards them as well. After all, we'll be removing the zombies from this army very, very shortly, at the very least the non-summoned ones. So we might as well enjoy them under Vlad's command for a few more seconds before these guys are brought down, which will be very shortly. And oh, they're nearing 500 kills now. But there's always more zombies, Slayers, there's always more zombies. It's just not gonna fly. Alright, we've seen them do their thing, it's time for them to go. I'm just gonna speed this up while they're slowly but surely overrun, up to 570 kills now. And still hacking their way, 19 units left. Alright, well done to the Slayers. Now that is a heroic doom, you gotta admit. Alright, down to 11 and 613 kills. These zombies have walked into an axe blender here, and it's fantastic. Look at all the zombie corpses piled up underneath the Slayers there. And one by one they go down. Another Slayer loses their head. Obviously not much to say about this. I think I've said everything I can possibly say about these guys at this point. Did he get knocked down? Is he getting back up from that? No, he is not. We are down to 3 Slayers. Still fighting. And the one lost his head. We're down to 2. And then there was 1. And the last Slayer will fall. Eventually. Possibly. There he goes. Loses his head as well. Close victory. Fantastic send-off for those guys, though. Alrighty, another really interesting fight for Vlad's army. He does tend to get those, especially with his army in its current form. One thing I also found is that I've come to the conclusion that direwolves are significantly better than fellbats in Isabella's army. She's a little bit more bat-oriented, but the fact that she gives Wayfarer or Strider or whatever it was to the direwolves, and I guess the Vargulfs as well, means that they will perform better than the bats, even though the bats also get the same stuff, because that stuff is relatively useless to the bats. And on top of that, the fellbats are relatively low in HP, in fact considerably lower in HP than the direwolves, so even with their high melee defense, it doesn't let them, I mean, they'll still die fairly easily just due to one-hit landing and them getting wrecked. Oh wow, 627 kills, 73,000 damage on that unit of Slayers. Very nice. These guys were just chopping their way through zombies for basically the entire fight. Did that really earn them anything? Well, one of the zombies did get brought down, though the dead rise and it will be up against, so not really. Anyway, I think what this means is we'll take the fellbats out of this army, we'll put 4 doggos in, we'll keep the Vargulfs, and hopefully that'll complete what we need to do here. So, dominate captives, please, to heal up, and I'm hoping that we can reach it. Yes, we can. Auto-resolve, basically nothing left here. 63 loss, how'd you manage that? Anyway, Wailing Banner, pretty useless banner for the Vamps generally. Is that the worst banner for the Vamps, now that I think about it? Spotter Spyglass also useless to us. Perfect Vigor for Vlad, which is nice. Western Provinces mission successful. Good. More drums. Causes fear, causes terror. Oh! Actually, wait a moment. Out of curiosity, let me see the Living Army. Where are you, Living Army? Elvira. These guys have near... well, the Man-Eaters have... fear. But... unless... wait... Vigor loss reduction, speed, leadership ammunition, melee and missile, and casualty punishment. Okay, so nothing will give them fear or terror, meaning we do have a use for that banner, which is on you. Might as well take a Razor Standard as well. Every army gets a Razor Standard. You know what? War Banner on you as well. Oh, right, you're a new Lord, so I haven't given you banners or ancillaries, generally speaking. Yet we also gotta apply the Lichbone penance. At least to the new armies. Most of the old armies, unfortunately, don't have room unless we want to take something out, which I'll have to think about. You also may want a Warlock, because, well, some likelihood that you'll ambush stuff. Definitely Mortal Informer for the magic item drop chance, and technically... oh. Alright, fine. Lose the Black Cat, take a Corpse Thief instead for the additional post-battle chance of stealing and enemy hero action success chance, just in case they try to stop you in your tracks or do something that we don't like, basically. Alright, who's up next? Let's see if anybody else needs to move this turn. Brandon Gagnon. Oh, right, you guys. All of you guys around Festus. I really didn't want to deal with him. Very strongly didn't want to deal with him right now, simply because You're gonna land here, right? You guys can't declare war on you and instantly kill you, right? I don't think so. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. Oh, I didn't want to deal with him because I didn't want to take the Nemesis crown right now, but I think we don't have much of a choice, unfortunately. It's just the way it is. So yeah, we'll deal with that in a second. I didn't mean to click Ghoul King Hakenaros here, but that's fine, because these are the only guys that still need to move this turn. Recruit... What? Oh, I thought you were just able to land, but you were just short of it. Come on, man. Why you gotta hold out on me, man? Or why you holding out on me, whatever. Let's, I guess, deal with Festus then, since we don't have much of a choice. He's otherwise gonna attack the Moot, which isn't well defended enough. At the very least, now that army's in there, and he's just gonna annoy us. So we can seal the Nemesis crown until either Manny or Vlad come back to pick it up. By the time they get here, it'll probably be back up and running again. So... you... what do you guys do, incidentally? Armor-piercing weapon damage at the cost of leadership aura. Sure. It's actually a significant amount of armor-piercing damage, but the Strigoi bloodline still gives you that Claws of Morcane or whatever. That will still give you more power. Let's give you Dark Pact as well. I'm presuming we can auto-resolve this, because, I mean, yeah, sure, it's Beast of Nurgle under Festus, but it's still not all that much. Might as well leech XP with all of these guys and see if there's anything else in here interesting that we can at least temporarily give to Ghoul King Hikanorus. I mean, I guess what we could do is we could give him Crypt Ghouls while we don't have Crypt Horrors, and then give him Horrors once he's ready for them. Makes sense? Makes sense. Alright, you guys all can reinforce, and... tunneling stance. Oh, it's because you have the reclusive thing enables tunneling stance, which is nice for fighting dwarfs, but otherwise relatively... I mean, there are certain places where conquest would be easier because of it, and actually keep you around. But anyway, I guess all of you can leech XP from Festus, and then we'll have Werner attack him. Well, actually, I guess the question is there anybody here that is actually useful in the sense that, like, you're an alpha ghoul, so we could have you use a follower army at least. You're also an alpha ghoul, but a lower level than this guy. You have that reclusive stance. Frankly, Festus is a... whatever. I was wondering whether we should acquire his defeat trait on site. Really? I guess I should have leveled these guys. Go figure. I wasn't expecting that. Okay. Alrighty, here we go. I would wager that this will still be a pretty interesting fight. Now, Festus isn't the issue here, as odd as that may seem, because Festus is generally an issue and he has sufficient big boys like the Beast of Nurgle and the Soul Grinder to heal up. No, the issue is Harry the Hammer, the Bane of the Undead, and his essentially counter abilities to us. His ability allows him to remove the undead attribute from any undead units, and well, that's actually a very devastating thing to have. So that means that units like Graveguard and stuff will be able to rout. It will, well, it causes a lot of problems for undead units, so we'll see. And we don't have really anything in these armies, since they're not real armies, to be able to bring him down, so all we can hope to do is mob the enemy with pure numbers, destroy everything but Harry, and hopefully kill off Festus so that he can't heal him up, and then deal with it all. Alright, what we do have here is 3 of the Strigoi Ghoul Kings working together. Honestly, since we have Strigoi bloodlines, but we don't have Strigoi heroes like this, so it would be nice to add a few of these guys in a single army as heroes. I want more ghouls, more ghoul types in the ghoul armies. But anyway, these guys are going to work together for this time, and they're going to move forward bit by bit by bit. They're all in stock, so I was curious to see how close they could get before the enemy found them. And it looks like when they do, they will send a few marauders and such at them. So it's time to move. We're going to send in our Graveguard as well as the Strigoi to lead. It looks like, ooh, the enemy's going to charge our Rot Knights through our Sword and Board variant of Graveguard, but that actually works out really well for us because it means that the enemy has completely disrupted their own formation by charging through. Their units of Rot Knights are now trapped, and individuals will hopefully get mobbed and brought down by piles of halberds. At least that's the plan. And we're going to help them out as well, as we've got Black Knights moving in from the side. That charge from the Rot Knights dish out heavy damage, about 60% of the HP fallen off of the Graveguard, but definitely worth it to bring down the biggest threat on the field other than Harry. And possibly that Soul Grinder. They're definitely not getting out of here now as the Black Knights pincer them, and more of them are trapped and getting hit and brought down. The main sort of portion of the battle is now the Graveguard facing off against the enemy infantry, with Harry the Hammer as well as an Exalted Hero of Nurgle, or is it just Exalted Hero of Nurgle? No, Harry the Hammer's in here as well. And as we can see, we got our Strigoi Ghoul King terrified and attempting to run away from Harry, as these guys have a tendency to do. Enemies lose one of the units of hounds Hounds of Decay on the right flank, which allows us to charge into the back line of a rather isolated sort of portion of the enemy right flank. Enemy going to take a ton of damage on their Marauders, and then hopefully we can surround this unit of Beasts of Nurgle, such they're unable to fight. Our Necromancer has also arrived with ghouls and Morngulls and Crypt Horrors in tow, and they're going to try to mob surround and obliterate the Noxbringer. Noxbringer? Isn't Nox Knight? Nightbringer? Wrong sub-franchise game. Let's just see here. When steel becomes corroded and arrows turn to ash, there is little to wonder as to why no one survived the esteemed guardians of Nurgle's, guardian Nurgle's garden, eh? Okay. I guess it might mean Nox, like noxious? Like Poxbringer would make more sense, but anyway, Soul Grinder, still very critical that we destroy this darn thing so that it doesn't annoy us, especially as it does have that Cloud of Erosion armor destruction ability. And while the ammunition ability doesn't matter to us in this particular case, ooh, I see Festus has activated his crown to try to get a little bit of a defense going, as we have now started to surround him. The Graveguard with halberds, as well as for some reason the Corpse Guard. Well, not so much for some reason, but yeah. And it looks like a bunch of the Graveguard that are around Harry the Hammer are suffering a fair bit attempting to fight him. We're keeping the... he's got 14k damage on him. We're keeping the Strigoi Ghoul Kings away from him, and focusing instead on the Beasts of Nurgle, the enemy Exalted Hero of Nurgle, etc., etc. Harry needs to be last. Pretty much every battle, every fight that Harry's in, he is usually the last unit on the field, and I don't think that this one is going to be any exception to that. We do have the numbers on our side here. Black Knights and Black Coaches and 2 of our Strigoi Ghoul Kings surround those Beasts of Nurgle. Gotta bring them down one by one. Harry the Hammer, or not Harry the Hammer, Festus continues to get hit by Spirit Leeches, and our ghouls and such are dishing out damage and slowly but surely wearing down the enemy Beasts of Nurgle and the Soul Grinder as well. We are certainly taking damage, though. I believe several of our units of Graveguard have at this point melted away, and 1, 2, 3 units of Graveguard are down to the dregs of their HP, and by the looks of it, Harry the Hammer is liable to destroy them as well. Fortunately, Festus is just about done, below to 3,100 HP, and with the Ghoul Kings focusing him down and him unable to make his way through the droves of Graveguard, he's about to spill his cauldron. Spill his juice. No, it's not a euphemism. Or is it? Anyway, just to chase him down. Still very critical that we destroy him, though I guess one of the unfortunate things about wounding him will be the fact that these guys who will not remain on field will be taking his defeat trait. Although, if these guys continue leveling up, we could always have them grab some follower armies and sort of running around just sort of capturing basic settlements. Just ones I don't necessarily need to fight, once we have the spare cash. Anyway, Harry is still fighting. Festus will, I'm sure, fall eventually, in a couple of seconds, in fact. And Harry has nearly destroyed yet another unit of Graveguard. In fact, he's, by the looks of it, ignoring them and attempting to charge something else. Gonna charge some ghouls towards him now. Damn. A single swing from that hammer, and he obliterates like half a dozen ghouls. And damn. Oh, they all go flying, but not to worry, we have ghouls and we have Graveguard to spare. Damn, that hurt them. That takes about half HP of this one and what, like 3/4 of the HP of that one. Beautiful work from Harry. 171 kills and 46k damage now, but Festus has fallen. The rest of his army are destroyed. The Exalted Hero of Nurgle might still take a little bit, but Harry the Hammer is, as expected, the last unit on field. Now we just have to work through all of that HP of his. Poor little ghouls. Brave enough to do this. Or maybe not brave, just too terrified, or more terrified of their masters than they are of their demise here. Which, to be fair, does make sense. Being bonked and instantly killed with Harry's hammer is probably a lot better a fate than, I don't know, your spirit being bound and tortured for eternity, just because you angered some necromancer or vampire. Anyway, Harry is only down to about 90% of his HP, so he's going to be doing this for a long, long time. So I'm going to speed this up, otherwise we'd be here all day. And there's another that attack of his, 348 now. Okay, it's time to send in our 3 Ghoul Kings. Obviously, the zombies ain't gonna do damage, and the Ghoul Kings will instead gang up on Harry. Looks like he does heavy damage to one of them, so the other 2 will continue fighting him. And the other will back off and then charge back in. And okay, more goals. Damn, more goals are big. In the way a little bit. Oh, I like these 3 brother Ghoul Kings working together. It's cute. Once again, too bad we can't have them in one army somehow. It'd be neat if there was a mod that could that enabled lords to be like Isabella and essentially act as lords or heroes. That would be pretty neat. Anyway, Harry is down to about 10% of his HP. Well, he could handle ghouls and he could handle Graveguard in droves. It looks like the Ghoul King brothers here do manage to bring him down at last and give us the victory. That was one we had to work for, however, pretty much solely because of Harry, as the rest of the army was mobbed with decent ease. Alright, maybe the auto-resolve wasn't as mistaken as it might have been. Now we know that Harry the Hammer counters undead, it's his whole gimmick. I didn't expect it to work so hard here, though. I guess we really do need a duelist lord to deal with the likes of him, as frankly, our numbers here were a little bit working against us, as, well, there's only so many units that can attack a model at the same time, whether it be Festus or one of these slow or small models like Harry or even the Exalted Hero, compared to the other stuff. Still, we do manage to carry the day, though it did take some effort, and we did get some nice cash and an Armor of Destiny out of it, so at least the game recognizes and rewards what we have done here. We will, I guess... I mean, it's 3.3k, and we do have materials, let's see. But, take the money. We don't really care about the Graveguard so much, because once again, this is just a follower army, or just a defender army. It's not really needed. We will seal the crown for now, and I guess the enables replenishment in foreign territory. Oh, we already have that, don't we? Well, we wouldn't want to put the Nemesis crown on some random guy anyway, so seal the crown. We'll get it back, probably. Armor and Forbidden Rod. We've been looking for you. More of these, I mean. Obsidian Amulet on you? No, sir. No. And the Armor of Destiny will go nicely with everybody else. And yes, keep finding those items. Looks like everybody got an item that fought, and you get that lovely defeat trait, but whatever. Mission successful. Army receives Plague. Oh, Recruiter. No. At least I guess it's a Nurgle Plague. The Nurglish Plagues aren't nearly as bad, as weird as that sounds, as the Skaven Plagues, which are just frickin' Skaven Plagues. Alright, everybody, kill this guy. Make sure that he can actually die, and nobody will lose a... Well, I guess we don't even care if you do lose a unit. Alright, lovely. And we will take the... Yeah, take the money again. Beautiful. Gravedigger, Berserker, Sword, Scepter of... Oh, right. When you have a bunch of lords, they all get a chance to take an item, and thus, yep. Okay. I'll deal with those, but, well, actually, no, I'll deal with them now, because this episode is not over. And the Armor of Destiny has to go to one of our legendary lords, I guess, or possibly Isabella. Lose the Scepter of Stability... lose the Kitab El-Aziz as well. I figure that you're going to move to transfer stuff anyway, and definitely lose the useless Ruby Ring of Ruin. You, sir! I assume that there's no more Crypt Cores here? No. Which recruiter are... Oh, they all got the Plague, or at least most of them do. Well, Zacharias Lichberg, you still need to carry all of these black coaches to Kamler, but you need to do it without getting them killed by Durthu. Ideally. We can move this far, which means you should still be able to outrun him by going through Grenstad, so go this way. We also need somebody to grab Karak Dromar. So there is that to consider. Anyway, you go this way, sir. Werner von Waldenhof. I guess what we could do is a recruiter. I was about to say you could recruit some Graveguard to restore what he's missing, but he can still build them for free. And he doesn't have a plague right now. Yeah, you know what? Go to Fort Oberstyre. We'll probably move you to take Essen and try to use Ghoul King Hikanorus to take Karak Kadrin. Rebuild some of your Graveguard. Well, oh. You can only build the Sword and Borders here? Well, those are the ones that died, so yeah, do it. Wait. I lied. They do take 2 turns, though. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Oh. You know what? You're gonna raise them for him. Ancillaries, where is the Gravedigger? Like so. And take the Kitab al-Azif. We will go into Necromantic Ritual, and then we will raise 1, 2, 3 to replace those that you've lost. And this way you won't have to waste a turn, rather. Merch Stance to Werner. And Recruiter, you're gonna have to transfer all those units with the Plague as well, aren't you? I don't know why I did use Recruiter for that, but whatever. Okay, you lose those, you won't need them. We'll use you to ferry stuff. Let's look at how long is this Plague gonna be for? 8 turns? Okay, that's not running out anytime soon. Just go. Just transfer the Plague all over the place. Whatever, man. No choice of the matter, I guess. And then Brandon, you can sort of stick around the moot because we might need to ferry more troops. We might need to do something. Something's gonna happen somewhere, as it tends to do. Anyway, I do believe that's all we need to do this turn, unless I'm mistaken, other than Hikanorus, who could maybe besiege. No, they'll just sally out, and then the range, we won't be able to do anything about the range units here. And we could try for Essen, but then this guy will immediately attack us. I'd rather we just wait for the additional troops and then not have any issues at all. Just got to keep an eye out on more crypt horror. Alright, I gotta remember that you can raise one here, but we obviously will wait until next turn to do it, so you can go into Necromantic Ritual. Anyway, building still has to be done. And there is a decent amount of it. Alright, so let's start with Gibbet. Go for the Artisan Blood Tax. We're starting to build these everywhere after all, and then you can start with the Blood Tax as well. Alright, Coast of Erebus. Blood Tax for you. Still fairly expensive, but well, if we start building them everywhere, they'll make us the money that we need, as we do need it. Yeah, this place is a gold mine, so it'll generate quite a bit of money, so yeah, we can build that. Floating Village in Morgheim. I did want more capacity for Crypt Horrors somewhere. Although, we do generate money out of the Lost Necropolis. Yeah, fine, this place can generate money as well. Lots of decent money-making provinces, although nothing holds a candle to Land of the Dead so far, which is just tons. Sun Tree Glades and then Wantal. You're okay. Could build a Peasant Blood Tax here, but frankly, just do it. Whatever, let's Blood Tax it up. This is going to be a lot of negative growth, but frankly, we have most of the places that need to be growing okay anyway, so just do it. Peasant Blood Tax. And at this point, I'm kind of sick of seeing these things every single turn. It's a little bit irritating, so yeah. You know what? Let's build the Crypt Horror territory building stuff here, and then we can maybe build Blood Taxes when we replace the ossuaries here. Maybe. But we still need Crypt Horror and Black Coach capacity, so just do it. I like that they are in the same tree. Oh, the Public Order is going to be iffy here, but I guess this will go up, and then if we build a Blood Tax here, it'll counteract it anyway. Yeah, hopefully. That's the dream. Alrighty, keep building stuff here as well. Go for the Blood Tax, and what do we have here? Ooh, Temple Avenue of Gold. That's a gold mine, and more money from the Balefire Hearth. And what are we missing here? Gibbet, of course. Never go without a gibbet. Never leave home without your gibbet, folks. Dawn's Harbor and spices for you, and of course the Balefire Brazier needs to be up and running everywhere because they have adjacency bonuses to all surrounding territories, which means making more money. Gibbet for you, Quinnell. Southern Borderlands, Stormhenge. You're not really growing all that much. Do we go for the Peasant Blood Tax? Just do it, whatever. Carcassonne. At least they also give us control, which means we don't have to worry about control as much. Not that we have been all that much. And ooh, tier 3 of the Cups of Sacrilege. More recruit rank and stuff for, well, actually, the Crypt Ghouls doesn't really matter anymore. Not at this point in time, but oh well. And Balefire Brazier as well. Actually, we could do a Gibbet instead. Let's do a Gibbet. Like so. At the very least, not for recruiting Crypt Ghouls in that particular location, because why would we care? It's too far. Crookback Mountain, you have the Vargulf and Morngul capacity, which I don't think we need here. We did keep the Scoured Iron Mine, which is fantastic. Go for the Balefire Brazier. And, oh, we might actually run out of money before we run out of territories to build stuff in. I was hoping to avoid that. Gold Mine here for Vlad. River Brienne, Aquitaine, that's an easy Gibbet and an easy ossuary, or charnel pit, or whatever the first variant is, yes. And you can have Gibbet, I guess. Actually, you know what, here we've been building the blood taxes before the Gibbets, and I think that still has to be the case, because otherwise these places will have too negative control. It is the Southern Chaos Wastes, after all. Alright, that's nearly the end of the building. Ooh, only +1, damn. That's with all the blood taxes. I'm not even sure that that'll work then. But I guess we'll find out. Alright, build you Southern Waste. Let's upgrade the Demon's Gate. Just Shady Township, and Poaching Camp, and obviously the Public Order here at the Crags of Fendal. 9 turns to upgrade. I sincerely doubt they're gonna climb any higher, although they can actually collect money. Not bad. 11, still growing, only by +1, still growing. Go figure. Yeah, that's fine. It's not a lot of cash, but, well, we still need the cash, and it's not like we really care about the, what happens in Athel Glorin. And, ooh, we make it just to the end, with just enough money to get it all up and running. We can only do this for, 4 more turns. Okay, actually, not only. Well, like I said, this is going to shore up our admin for the rest of the campaign, which is lovely. End turn. Let's see if anybody else attacks us. I did do the... Ah, they will sally out. Go figure. Okay, so why did he run then? Okay, somebody explain this to me. We attacked a guy that was outside of the settlement. He was standing right out here. And he was gonna draw... Oh, it's probably because Drazoath the Ashen wasn't there yet. Ah, yes. No need to explain it to me now. I figured it out. Good job, Ruinous. You finally did something. Yeah, he and his spam of the Flames of Asgore are going to be an issue unless he's a low enough level that he doesn't have it. He does have Burning Wrath spam. Does he actually not have the Flames of Asgore? Well, it sucks to be him, I guess. He does have a bunch of other things. And it'll be a bit of an effort to bring him down. But we do have the Vargulf's Torn Aim. Anyway, it should be a pretty fun fight from the Chaos Dwarfs, including that Dreadquake battery. And doubling up on it, too. Gotta watch out for that. Go. Ooh, look at all the bones around. Lovely, lovely. This is a nice tone for this particular battle, which I would wager will be pretty darn interesting. That's a lot of Chaos Dwarfs arrayed against us, and they have those 2 uses of Dreadquake mortars available to them, plus, of course, Drazoath the Ashen to lead them. And, damn, that's 63 weapon strength? That was a lot higher than I was expecting. Go figure. Well, he hits pretty hard. Let's see if it's hard enough to deal with us here. So, we're going to... Oh, it looks like the enemy will get the first of its Dreadquakes out on one of the units of Graveguard. This one, unfortunately for them, we can dodge, however, since we are waiting for the enemy army to arrive, and thus we are actually paying attention and able to dodge the first hit. That said, we want to wait for the second hit to come in, so we don't want to blob up our units too much. And so, what we're going to do is we're going to keep our zombies, or at least some of the zombies, out front. The Vargulf will move to hunt down the Lamassu here, which is touched down in the middle of the zombies, and we're just going to hope that these zombies blob up and hold back the tide of enemies for long enough to see where that second Dreadquake is coming from, and then we'll be able to move on in. We don't want to get hit by those darn Death Shrieker rockets, however, and similar to the... This is the Ash Storm effect? What is this? Oh, Dark Subjugation effect. Oh, looks pretty cool. Huh. Kind of a neat animation on this. Surprisingly neat animation on this. I wish we had that of our own. Of Cool. Anyway, we're going to summon the zombies on top of the Death Shriek rocket with our own army ability. The rest of our units are starting to move up, including Helman Gorst himself, and it looks like most of the enemy melee infantry at least have reached our main battle line. Drazoath floating ahead, or floating overhead as well, and there it is at last. The second of the enemy Dreadquake barrages is active. And will come down right in the center of our formation, but unfortunately for the enemy, where only zombies are, and not even Gorst's zombies, but the second armies. Now we're ready for the rest of the army to move on in. Zombies, Graveguard, everybody charges the center. The Black Knights and the Direwolves move out as they're able to engage without being hit by those Dreadquake barrages. And we now have the masses of infantry here. We will be getting hit a lot on Mr. Gorst here. But let's see, we got... Ooh, the fire weakness ain't so great. We got 30% physical resistance and 55 missile, which is pretty darn solid on him. So even with the enemy focusing him down, they'll probably have a fairly difficult time. Drazoath has touched down as well, so we're going to be sending the Vargovs against him as soon as the Vargovs deal with the Bull Centaur renders, as we don't want to have them rip apart droves of our infantry. Still, the battle line is working reasonably well, and the enemy flanks are gonna get hit by our fast movers. Enemy decided to try to loop around us with Infernal Ironsworn and Chaos Dwarf blunderbusses, and so they're going to take some Black Knight lances to the back. Ooh, you're going to have to charge through the water and then uphill. Probably won't have enough speed to charge properly. Let's see. Still a few went flying. Alright. A little bit of damage, at the very least. Got to get rid of those blunderbusses, as our White King did a good job holding the enemy back, and shouldn't be too threatened, I would think, by the Infernal Ironsworn. Vargovs have now sent those Bull Centaur renders running and are now focusing down Drazoath, who's down to about half of his HP. The battle is still very much going, but the balance have now shifted in our favor ever since we've been able to move our droves of units in. On the left flank, the same thing is repeating itself as the Doggos and the Black Knights have hit the enemy in the back, and blunderbusses and all enemy range units. Ooh, I like the lava stuff reflecting on the water too. Alright. And it looks like we should have this battle wrapped up rather soon. Unfortunately, the enemy was not able to take advantage of its vastly superior range firepower, and those Dreadquakes we were simply able to wait out. Now it's just a matter of mobbing the enemy with zombies, as we like to do, and sort of sitting nearby with Gorst while his Mortis engine does damage, and his Vargovs do as well, and any escaping enemy dwarfs are hopefully run down by our fast movers. Alright, beautiful work. Drazoath down to maybe 20% of his HP, and I'd wager as soon as he shatters, if we can actually catch him, the battle will be ours. There is an Iron Demon in here as well, and that'll be unbreakable, so it'll anchor the enemy at his leadership maybe for a little bit longer. No, probably not for too much. And, oh, is he trying to go for Gorst? That's not going to work out, but we do still have the Vargovs running around in here. And certainly another reason to possibly at least keep a couple of the Vargovs in this army. And there we go, everybody's moving at once. Drazoath is broken and routing at last, and with him I'd wager, let's see, most of the enemy army should follow suit. The left flank is collapsing, the Castellan is still holding, but I think he is the last one who will hold. Ironsworn. Definitely normally very difficult to break through, but they have suffered sufficient losses that they're out of here, and we've got enough armor-piercing damage on the Crypt Horrors and the Black Knights with lances to deal with them as well, at the very least after some work. And there we go, Drazoath's attempt here has failed. Once again, bizarre that he didn't sally out, but I guess he wanted to join the field himself rather than have it be led by another lord. Anyway, we're going to chase everybody down, as we'll want to occupy the place for ourselves, hopefully with an auto-resolve. Alright, a really fun fight thanks to Drash here now. Sadly, we did not steal any of his items, but I guess we can't steal these because they're unique to the Chaos Dwarf, so I do wonder whether we can steal them and then they just turn into a, an appropriate item. But anyway, it went rather well. We did wait for those Dreadquakes to come down, and once they did, we were ready to go with the rest of our army moving in at once. And it certainly paid off. Massive damage on a few of the enemy units, 20k on the Fire Glaives. Hardly surprising there, as as probably the killiest unit that the enemy had. Blunderbusses had potential, but of course we tried to run them down as best we could. And yeah, very nice. Very nice. We will, I guess, not bother healing up. Take the money again, because we just barely had enough money last turn, so who knows if it'll be the same this turn. Oh, we did steal something. It was the Lichbone Pennant. Go figure. Alright, I really want to get the Living Army some more fun. They did beat the, oh, right, I forgot about this. I forgot that we had positioned Wilhelm and his Grim Banquet to be fighting Thorgrim. That's interesting. That is interesting indeed. Man, we have several lords in this particular campaign sort of fighting for legendary status. Will it be Wilhelm of the Grim Banquet? Will it be Wilmar of the Thousand Wings? Or will it be von Karlsbruck, Frederick von Karlsbruck and his Pike and Shot Undead Army? All are very nice. Probably won't be adding more than one as a legendary lord to our community canon. So, you know what, maybe by the end of the campaign I'll hold a vote as to who deserves the spot. I feel like everybody has their favorite at this point. Anyway, let's do this. I'm actually going to quick save before this battle because this episode is running long, and if it crashes, I'm going to kill myself because it's ridiculous to have to redo stuff when the game crashes. Fortunately, it is an end turn, so we'd only have to redo 2 battles, but it's still big battles, you know, and the game does crash sometimes, especially with mods. Anyway, let's hope that we won't need it. This is a pretty nice army. Armies. Ooh, you've made a big mistake though, Thorgrim. You're moving in with the damaged army, and the ghouls might just be able to tear you apart before your slow reinforcements get there. Let's find out. Alright, kill indeed, simple and straight to the point. Let's see if we can pull this off. Wilhelm of the Grim Banquet, I'd wager that Thorgrim's army, or armies, I should say, elite as they are, will prove quite the challenge to our ghoulish force. Now, we got a fairly interesting battle map, sort of a big old valley that sort of widens at both ends, which is kind of interesting, and we will have to try to deal with both armies. Now, the issue here is this. Our units of Crypt Horrors don't have Vanguard deployment like the ghouls and the Feral Strigoi do, which is why usually these guys can act as the hammer to these guys' anvil. Plus, of course, the Corpse Carts are quite slow. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to charge just the Crypt Ghouls and the Crypt Horror, or just the Crypt Ghouls and the Feral Strigoi at the enemy army, seeking to do as much damage to it as possible before the second stack arrives. And then, using the speed of the Crypt Ghouls, back down the rest of the valley and sort of melt away using our stock, which the enemy hopefully shouldn't be able to chase down. At least that's the plan. Whether it's going to work, I have no idea. Let's find out. We're going to start by using the Command of the Unliving summoning ability to get at least one unit of Crypt Horrors on field in the center of the enemy army. Our Lord will unfortunately not be able to take on Thorgrim right now, as he has to give chase to the enemy Grudge Settler Trollhammers, as they're a scary unit and we can't have them firing at us all day and knocking out our large units. That said, our Crypt Ghouls and our Feral Strigoi have arrived. Let's see how much damage they're able to do. Once again, we do lack the armor-piercing damage in this army in order for the Crypt Ghouls, the little guys, to be sufficiently threatening to the regular dwarfs without the Crypt Horrors. But they do have the numbers at the very least until the enemy's second army arrives, so maybe they can mob them. Besides, if we do have at least decent numbers here, we can distract as many of the enemy units as possible while we hopefully deal with run through and deal with the enemy artillery with our infantry. That said, time is indeed limited. We have 10 seconds until the second force arrives. We've done some damage here. Looks like this unit of Dwarf Warriors is destroyed. The Grudge Throwers are in bad shape. The unit of Grumbling Guard are in bad shape as well. But soon it will be time to back off, especially as there's a lot of extra artillery being brought by the enemy. And of course, we did keep our Necros together with these lines as well, so that they could be near to various entity deaths, so that they can power up there. Master of the Dead, up to 31%, which is decent, not as good as we'd like, but certainly will be helpful. Anyway, a couple more hits from the little ghouls, and I love the way they run. A couple more hits from the little ghouls, and then it's time to back the heck up. They won't be winning this fight against both armies with just the ghouls alone, but the damage is certainly there. Even Thorgrim took a couple of hits. The enemy hammerers are all fairly beat up, though the Everguard are basically, wow, they suffered like no damage whatsoever. And killed 31 units, maybe lost 5% of their HP. Damn, I don't think I ever got a chance to play with these guys myself, so next Dwarf run, I guess. So they're Thorgrim's legendary unit, which also makes sense. Ooh, and they also have armor sundering and magical attacks on them. Ooh, which is probably why they're able to deal with us very well. We got lots of physical resistance on our ghouls. 45 and 55 on the horrors. Damn, quite nice. But both Hammers and the Everguard have magical damage, which is why this army can handle them decently well. Anyway, time to back up. I'm going to speed this up while we do. We'll leave a single unit of zombies behind, or actually 2 units of zombies behind, summoned specifically to distract the enemy. And we will continue chasing those darn gyrocopters around. This is the second unit. The first one, I believe, was either chased off or heavily damaged. They will continue firing at the Gabagools here, but they will be finally caught here. We're going to pop that toxic venom, or apply toxic venom on them, and then run them down. We do have various ways that our Strigoi Ghoul King can, or Strigoi Bloodline can chase enemies down. First, he can activate his own speed ability. And then he also has that Terrorgeist Shriek available to him, so he can slow the enemy down minus 50% speed when using it. And he's dropped these guys down to about 50% of their HP. Nice. Looks like the bait is working. The enemy is heading directly towards our Crypt Horrors, while our Crypt Ghouls and our Feral Strigoi are once again hidden. We're going to use another Command of the Unliving behind the enemy army to pop another unit of Crypt Ghouls on the field. And while I'm sure they'll take a few hits from the enemy artillery pieces, one, it's a summoned unit, so we don't care, and two, and the artillery pieces are just as likely to hit their own crews, so that works just as well for us as well. Alright, well, those crews are in trouble. The rest of the enemy army heads towards our Crypt Horrors, who are getting ready to fight, while the rest of our Crypt Ghouls wait to hit the enemy by running down into the valley. Alright, here come the Horrors smashing into the enemy Everguard and the, what are these, Iron Breakers here. Ooh, that's an interesting matchup as well. Iron Breakers and Everguard hold the enemy's left flank, the 2 tankiest units that the enemy has on field. So we're going to divert 2 units of Crypt Horrors to them, and we're going to hit them in the back, both of them, with Crypt Ghouls as well. The rest of the Crypt Horrors have made their way forward, one of them fighting a unit of Slayer Pirates, though that should go decently in our favor, as the Slayer Pirates are fragile and will get ripped apart by the splash damage of the Horrors. A few manling auxiliaries here as well, but they'll get torn apart by Horror and by Ghoul alike. Alright, and the rest of our units have made their way down the mountain, smashing into the flanks of the enemy army as well, soon to overrun their back line of ranged units. At the very least, those that can. Thorgrim is going to try to get in the way. Ooh, nice swing of that axe, sends a bunch of the ghouls to their doom and knocks down at least one of the units of horrors, or feral Strigoi rather. But here comes our lord for a nice little duel between the two. And we got 10 levels on Thorgrim, which is something. It's not crazy, and we don't have any points in the fighty tree of our lord yet. But what our lord does have is effective, well, near unkillability, as these guys are just so insanely tanky when you build them to be tanky. Enemy's backline are very much in trouble at this point, and the bounce power has shifted in our favor. Our ghouls and feral Strigoi have overrun the enemy range units, which means no range support, which is very much needed when fighting all those script horrors. Any enemy units that we could not tie up because we didn't have the numbers, we have summoned zombies upon, and they are still unable to fire. Looks like the Iron Breakers are iron broken, though the Everguard are still indefinitely in the fight. And it's taking even the armor piercing of the Crypt Horrors a long time to break through that legendary unit. Which does make sense, legendary as they are. Thorgrim is now in reasonably bad shape here, about 40% of his HP remaining, the units around him dying in droves while he continues to get attacked by our Ghoul King, who for some reason decided to, there you go, better. Alright, and Thorgrim is poisoned, and we'll probably double up on that poison as we continue applying them to him. And if we want, we can Terrorgeist Shriek as well to lower his melee defense as well, though by the looks of it, it's not needed. Oh, nice bonk to the poor little Terrorgeist. Right in the head, too. But I guess he's just bonking the Terrorgeist and not the Strigoi there. I really wish that they would update the, well, I mean, there's a lot of old lords whose animations need updating, but it would be nice if the, I mean, look how close the Strigoi is to the head of the Terrorgeist. You're telling me he can't take the occasional swipe with his claws? He can definitely reach Thorgrim from there. He absolutely can. Just lean forward and swipe with your claws. Just even one animation. It doesn't even need to be multiple ones. But anyway, I suppose it doesn't matter. Thorgrim will be brought down by Wilhelm, and the rest of his army will shatter at that. The Everguard, let's see, are down to about 30% of their HP, but they've been fighting the entire time against that. Damn, look at that damage dealt. 38k damage, only down to about 30% of their HP. That is a scary, scary unit, isn't it? But alas, brought down by mere ghouls. Anyway, a very nice fight. And I like how it was sort of a two-parter battle, wherein we had the first fight and then we backed off, and then we had the second portion of the fight, and this strategy did work out quite well, as the enemy were drawn in to go after our visible horrors, while our stalking units were able to hit them in the back and the flanks. Lovely. Damn, that's a lot of XP, 31k, but I guess Wilhelm earned it. That was a very fun fight. Had to get a little bit fancier with the maneuvers there than we normally might do, but it worked out well, drawing the enemy in and away from their artillery, and then surrounding and destroying their much more elite units. The Everguard with shields survived, and I guess just ran away despite being constantly attacked because they're so incredibly tanky. 38k damage and 2.5k damage dealt as gold value. Damn. Well, the Feasters in the Dust got them beat with 43k and 6.4k damage dealt as gold value, but we have pretty high damage dealt as gold value, generally speaking, against the super expensive Dwarfen army. The Gabagools managed to get 26k and 2.3k, and the Ravenous Feasters as well, on par with the Feasters in the Dusk, both of you, though the Ghoul Story Bro and the Ghoul Scouts all did well. Frankly, the entire army just did plain really well. Swole Survivors, 27k and 25k, very nice. Very nice. Corpse Guard 303 and 55A. I mean, they're not supposed to do damage. It's just amusing. But damn, what a fight! Plus, of course, the duel between Wilhelm and Thorgrim. There, they may be just ghouls, but they certainly hit above their level, or whatever the phrase is. We're going to take the money. It's still 5K. And underway interception for Vladdy. Okay, sure. Why not? Free Razor Standard, we'll take it, and we will... You know what? We'll take the Murder Captives. Battle Healing Cap plus 25%. In the late game, we can just start spamming Murder Captives and power up our army further, but once again, we need to fix our money before we do. Sisters of Twilight want a peace treaty. To be honest, I wasn't even aware that we were at war with you, but no. Draika probably wants peace treaty as well. I would love to, Draika, but you're still holding on to a landmark territory of ours, so we can't have that. Abyssa, now you have to be destroyed. Snorko Ol Weirdy. I don't see any point in keeping you alive. Just kind of in a dangerous place where you could potentially attack any of our undefended or under-defended territories. Anyway, we got the... Oh, right! The Drazoath, the Ashen Defeat trait. His income from province... Oh, I'm actually curious about this. Plus 5%, so we're at 48.7k. By killing him, and there's a research rate from defeating Thorgrim, but anyway, Helm of Discord, Sword of Strife, yada 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 yada, ally mission successful, and ooh, free dwarf spy, if we can raid Pillars of Grugny. If I can remember to do, no, but then we'd have to waste a turn. I don't think I'd do that. What was I going to do? It was something important. But I immediately forgot what it was because there was a billion things and they all distracted me. Oh, right. Drazoath the Ashen. So 48.7k. If we break the siege with you, and then hit you with Gorst instead. I like so. 48.7k. Remember that, guys. I just want to see how much this will go up if we get his defeat rate. And nobody will die right now. Doesn't look like it. Alright, Gorsty, you got that, and Banner of Eternal Flame, yeah, sure, why not? And Occupy. Alright, but also leave the settlement, because the being in the settlement is costing us less. Alright, so it was 48.7k, right? Unless I'm mistaken. Oh, so a single defeat trait of Drazoath gives us about, what, 2,000 gold? Huh. That's pretty good. That's pretty damn good. I mean, if you want to be cheap, you could just farm his defeat rate 1,000,000 times and then just fix all your money situations. We're not gonna do that. We're already getting 4,000 per turn just from defeating him twice. But I don't think we're gonna wait for the 8 turns or whatever it is to have him come back. Although, by the time we reach Karak Kadrin, he might be, since we'll have to move all the way up here. These are 4 territories that he has. Yeah. There is that possibility. Not that we need it. Also, actually, the missile resistance is really nice on both of these lords, just because they're always getting focused down by enemy missile fire. Anyway, obvious... Hey, and a Black Periapt. Nice find. Nice find indeed. Not for you, but nice find. That item so good it goes on all of our legendary lords. I also did still want to get Gorsty the defeat trait of Tretch Craventail. The problem is figuring out where exactly Tretch Craventail is at this moment. If he is even back or not. I see Thramute, but that doesn't help. Somebody should be at Mount Greyhag, but I don't think we have anybody to scout there. Because I don't want to destroy Tretch until we have his defeat rate on Gorsty. But if we have to, we have to. But anyway, with that, folks, we are obviously very much out of time, and I'm going to call the episode here. Some very nice battles in this particular episode, and by the looks of it, those were the 2 main stacks of Karazakarak, and the ghouls will overrun the Silver Road and eat every dwarf alive, and then probably infest the underway. The ghouls love living in catacombs and cemeteries after all, so break into all those ancestral graveyards of the dwarves into the underway and just create massive catacombs and ghoul courts in the Silver Road. A lovely time will be had by the ghouls and nobody else. Anyway, ooh, wait, before I forget, Galbaraz. Oh, you gotta be kidding me, it's gonna kill off all the... okay, I'll do this between the episodes. Game is being silly again. But what can you do? It really doesn't like the... I'm sure it'll like this army a lot more once we actually have the Mortis engines to put in here. It's just that it's going to be a little bit until we get them. So I'll try to fight the little mini fights between the episodes, which to some degree I've been doing already. Anyway, Skaven Blight falls next turn. That'll be 6 out of 8 books of Nagash. And then Grommy will start heading towards this book. Oh. Everybody's trying to hunt down Hikanorus. Yeah, I can see why they would. He got us a lot, but he's been revived as a ghoul. I'm just going to pretend this one doesn't exist. Yeah, anyway. Still stuff to do, so more vamps to come. Stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below. All glory to the algorithm. And at this point, the likes and comments below, etc. will determine how long we keep this campaign going. So, keep it in mind. All glory to the algorithm. And thanks for watching.